So previously I made a tier list for the best legendary weapon perks, the best legendary armor perks, and now we're at the best legendary perk perks. The best legendary perk cards in Fallout 76. I present to you another tier list. If you guys are new to the game or want to check out new Fallout 76 content, my channel is full of it. Check it all out. That's pretty cool. But before you do so, also check out the channel's partner, Instant Gaming. They're currently running a free monthly game giveaway. And if you guys want to buy any games for yourselves through my code, I do get a small kickback and it keeps the lights on at night, so I do appreciate you guys. But for any of your gaming needs, if you want really cheap games, check out Instant Gaming. Link will be in the description below and in the pinned comments. Now immediately we're going into the initial special cards. Each one of these special cards gives you +1 to the corresponding special and +1 perk point. Now the difference between the actual stat is just the actual stats on your effects menu, but the perk points allow you to put more of that specific special's perk card into a perk card pool. So technically you could have multiple categories with 15 perk points, and if you max out these cards you get +5 points and +5 perk points, easily putting all of these cards into the S+ tier. It diversifies your build, absolutely insane. The only one that I'm not going to put up there is the charisma card. We're going to throw that over into the niche category. It's not useless and it's not exactly the best either, but if your build calls for more charisma, then obviously this would be recommended. But out of all 7 of them, it's definitely the weakest of the bunch. Now we have Ammo Factory. Produce 150% more ammo when crafting ammunition. This immediately is going into the S+ tier. Only equip this when you're using it to craft. It will cost a perk point to unequip a previous one, but in all honesty, if you're the one to craft ammo, this is easily one of the best perks in the game. This also stacks with the agility perk by Ammo Smith for another 80% more rounds, and you could take this even further if you go over into Super Duper in the luck category, giving you another 30% chance to double your crafting results. Easily an S tier perk if you're the type to actually craft ammunition. Now we have Blood Sacrifice. When you die, teammates gain +40 damage reduction and heal for 70 HP over the course of 14 seconds. I made a new tier for this tier list called Why the Fuck Is This in the Game? And this is going to be our first ever card to go into this category. I don't understand why you would run a perk card that is only beneficial for when you die. I don't think I need to go any further on with this card. Brawling Chemist. Generate 2 combat enhancing chems every 40 minutes, up to a max of 5 bonus chems. Now these I was going to debate just putting into F tier, but I'm going to put these into niche, and here's why. There's a lot of people that just put these on and kind of AFK the game for a day or AFK the game for a while, and honestly that's not too bad. If you have a busy life, if you go to work, if you watch your kids, if you're one of the older gamers out there, this is actually pretty cool and saves you some caps and some resources from crafting actual chems within the game. So I think it's well deserving of the niche tier because it's not completely useless, but for your average player I would probably put this into the F- if you grind the game enough and you have the necessary resources to just craft all these things. For the next card we have Hack and Slash. 40% chance for melee VATS attacks to do area damage. We're putting this into F- for 2 reasons. Number 1, there's plenty other legendary perk cards that I would almost argue are better than this when it comes to melee damage, and the words melee in VATS kind of turned me off a little bit. And when I use melee builds, when my friend used melee builds with the power glove or even the Chinese stealth suit, the area damage can be fun and it can be pretty cool, but more often than not you're not going to notice that area damage while you're playing the game or just using VATS with your melee builds. I was going to put this up in niche, but the fact that legendary perks kind of carry most melee builds in this game, I'm going to put it down into F- due to the fact that it's taking up one of your legendary perk slots. And now this perk card is pretty similar by the name of Collateral Damage. Enemies killed with a melee weapon have a 20% chance to explode. This is also going into the F-, but below Hack and Slash. I personally believe Hack and Slash has more viability than Collateral Damage, and the fact that Collateral Damage is so low of a percentage that you're rarely going to see it, it's not really something I would tell any melee build to invest in. And it's on kill, which is a little bit less fun than the actual Hack and Slash, due to the fact that Hack and Slash, even though it's in VATS, it's only off of attacks. You don't need a full-on kill for Hack and Slash to proc, while on the flip side you actually need a kill for Collateral Damage to do anything, so I think it's well deserving of the F- slot. Now we have Detonation Contagion, and this perk allows you to have a 30% chance for enemies to explode on your thrown explosives. This one I'm actually going into the niche tier because there is a crap ton of explosive setups that you could run. If you're running Grenadier, if you're running Plasma Nades and you're running this card, it's actually kind of fun and kind of crazy to see the the chain reactions of explosions. If you're a Borderlands gamer like you are on my channel, I post a lot of Borderlands stuff. If you play Krieg in any way in Borderlands, do you remember Bloodsplosion and how that functioned in Borderlands 2? That's basically what this perk card does, and it's really freaking awesome, but it's not so awesome that I'm going to put it into A tier. It's definitely for a niche build. Electric Absorption, 20% chance enemy attacks that are energy based will recharge your armor's fusion core. This is going directly into A tier and will be our first A tier perk. This perk basically makes it, in the right circumstances, that your fusion core does not get consumed, and in Fallout 76 it may not be a big issue for a lot of players to have this, but honestly, if you're just using one core for an entire 30 minutes, this perk is more than enough value for you. If you were around during a time where fusion cores had a glitch and you have thousands of them saved up, obviously, you're not the target audience for this perk, but if you're a normal player grinding through the wasteland, you don't have the fusion core recharger from the Atom Shop, this perk can be super duper valuable. Exploding Palm. While unarmed, 20% chance of triggering an explosion on attack hits. This is a fun meme thing. While you're unarmed and you're just punching things, sure, that's pretty cool, but this also deserves a category of why the fuck is this in the game? I understand it, I get that it's fun and it's memey, and maybe one or two people have made a fun build around it, but I don't see the viability, and you're playing Fallout 76 to kind of make a build, not just punch things with your bare hands. I think the main thing that would make this perk better is if you change it to like while using one-handed melee weapons, or specifically two-handed melee weapons, but the fact that it's literally your fist immediately throws this into the what the fuck category. Next up on the list, we have Far-Flung Fireworks. Enemies have a 20% chance to explode when they are killed with a ranged attack. This is also going into the niche category. It is just free AoE for those builds that do want the AoE damage. If you're not running explosive rounds, and if you want more AoE with your commando build or your shotgun build, honestly, it's completely up to you. I prefer running this with a shotgun build depending on what I'm doing, but like I said, I think that's why it's deserving of the niche category, because not every build in the game is truly going to benefit from this. Now we got Funky Duds, plus 200% poison damage resist while you're wearing a matching set of armor. This is going into the F category as well, unfortunately, and the reason for this is poison damage is not too prevalent in this game unless it's like your daily ops challenge, but even then I've heard people say you could just put one poison mod onto a singular armor piece and it basically works the same way. Probably not worth investing all those perk points into this card for 200% poison damage resistance, and in that same breath it's also taking up a perk slot. You have to remember, I am also weighing the usability of these perk slots based on the other things that are also in the game. So if there's a armor mod or a food buff or a aid chem, so if there's anything like that that can make a noticeable comparison to a legendary perk card, immediately that value of the legendary perk card is going to be lowered. Follow Through. Ranged sneak attack increases damage to target by 40% for 10 seconds. This one is going into the A tier. In my opinion, this needs more love. I know sneak attacks aren't too popular anymore, but it's really not that hard to sneak attack. If you're using a bloodied build, a bloodied commando, a sniper build, anything of the sort, just crouch before you go into VATS and it will proc the ranged sneak attack damage increase. It's an easy 40% damage for 10 seconds and makes any build great. Maybe not a shotgun build, because I don't think you're going to sneak up on them like that. Most shotgun builds don't require stealth to be that good, so a easy deserving spot for A tier. Master Infiltrator gives you a ability to automatically unlock skill 3 terminals and skill 3 lockpicks just immediately. You don't have to do anything, you don't have to pull up a screen, it just automatically unlocks it for you. This goes into the easy A tier. You don't need to worry about bobby pins, you don't need to worry about cracking the code on anything. If you're the type of person that loves opening safes, loves opening those secret doors to get all the Nuka-Cola Quantums, all that secret loot, this makes your life 200 times easier and arguably is one of the best quality of life perks in the entire game. If you're that type of gamer, definitely level up Master Infiltrator, and in that same breath, you don't need to put on the perk cards that increase your lockpicking or your hacking skills, because it automatically does it for you. Good old Liberty Prime, we have the Power Armor Reboots, 40% chance to auto revive yourself with full health if you are downed in your power armor. This is also going directly up into the A tier. A lot of people use power armor, a lot of people have a crap ton of stim packs. The fact that you could self-revive yourself with this and you don't need to take up a life-saving perk mod on any of your armor pieces is absolutely insane. And in reality, all these bloodied gamers know that you're probably going to want this every now and again. And the great thing about this perk is it doesn't have any sort of cooldown, and unlike the armor piece, which is a 1-minute cooldown, there is a chance that you could just keep chaining these revives over and over again, which I've seen quite a few times, which is actually really funny. You just keep doing push-ups by yourself, that 40% just keeps procking for you. Honestly, a really fun perk, and I recommend giving it a try if you're one of those gamers that has a very high risk, high reward build while you are in power armor. Another power armor mod by the name of Power Sprinter. While inside of your power armor, sprinting consumes 50% fewer action points. I put this over into the niche category. It can pass for A for very specific agility builds, and if you really love saving your agility and you run a lot, then okay, I would put it there. But for the majority of the player base, you're not going to find too much use cases where you see a very noticeable difference here. And if you're really trying to save your cores, we already talked about it earlier, that the electrical absorption perk gives you a lot more value for your perk points. And how the mighty have fallen. Retribution. Restore 4 HP and 4 AP per second for 15 seconds when you block. Now, the unfortunate thing about this is the blocking mechanics in Fallout 76 are absolute shit. So good luck actually trying to get blocking to work, and most of the time, you don't need the health regen or AP regen in this game while you're blocking. Most builds are viable enough to where you're going to kill the thing that's hitting you. You're not really tanking for world bosses anymore. This isn't really an MMO type game. I understand why this perk card is in the game and the fun it could have, but with the way this game is designed and how clunky the blocking is, this gives a well-deserving spot of the why the fuck is this in the game? A great idea, terrible execution for the game that was created. We also have Sizzling Style, plus 200 fire damage resist while wearing a matching set of armor, very similar to the other one from earlier that gave you poison resist, except this one goes directly into the A tier slots. A lot of things in this game do fire damage, a lot of scorch beasts, a lot of fire from daily ops missions. Fire is everywhere in this game, and having the fire damage protection is very, very nice and allows you, if you wanted to, you don't have to run the fireproof card over into endurance, though I would still recommend it because it still prevents damage from explosions as well, but definitely deserving of the A tier as it just increases your overall survivability, and if you want to, it saves you actual perk points for other things within your build. We also have Survival Shortcut, generate 2 surviving aid chems every 20 minutes up to a maximum of 10. This one is going into the niche as well. It is useful, it is nice if you need it, if you're in the market for it. Some people just don't like crafting chems. That's why I don't think either of these self-generating perks are worthy of going lower on this tier list, because they do provide usefulness if you actually need it. I know not everybody likes to just farm meds and craft meds, and a lot of the times I just throw these on, go make dinner, go out somewhere, and I come back and I have a bunch of chems. So I think it's very, very well deserving of the niche category. We have Taking One for the Team. Now, this one is probably one of my favorites in the entire game. Enemies take 40% more damage when they attack you if you are on a team, but if you're playing Fallout 76, right, daily, with your buddies, with randoms, joining random public teams, this will work, and that's absolutely insane. It just makes your build a whole lot better. If everything's targeting you, you're going to be doing an insane amount of damage. Easily a S tier perk card, and highly recommend it for any build in this game, especially the up close and personal gamers that are using shotguns, maybe even SMGs and pistols, and the melee build gamers, definitely get this if you have to choose one of these perks for your melee build. And finally, we have What Rads. I'm instantly, without a doubt, putting this into the S+ tier, plus 300 rad resist and restores 6 rads per second. You no longer need Radaway with this perk card. You don't have to worry about the carry weight of Radaway. I just sell my Radaway for caps, and they sell for quite a bit of caps. I would only say this perk is kind of useless to you is if you're running a bloodied build, because if you're running a bloodied build, you don't want your rads constantly going away because that lowers your damage and that messes up your whole entire setup. But for anyone else that's not running bloodied, What Rads is probably one of the best survivability cards in the game. Most of the time, I just pop food, I go into random zones, and all my friends are like, dude, I'm dying to rads, and I'm like, what rads? I didn't mean for that to be the name of the perk, but you see why it's called What Rads now. But that is my personal legendary perk card tier list. I didn't see one on YouTube, so I love doing these tier lists for you guys. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about things. You guys traditionally let me know. I know all my opinions are not 100% facts. You guys may put cards in different positions than I do, but I just want to quickly say thank you so much for all the support on the Fallout 76 videos. If you're a newer player or just looking for new information and want easy, digestible content for Fallout 76, my channel is your go-to. And if you want to recommend or see any different types of videos on the channel, please let me know in the comments down below right before you leave a like to spread out this video to more people in the Fallout community. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on another video from me, guys. Stay safe, and I'll see you all later.